Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from createyourself.today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. On today's episode, we are doing a short review, more so reading, of the most interesting moments in the book Keto Answers, Simplifying Everything You Need to Know About the World's Most Confusing Diet. It's written by Anthony Gustin and Chris Irwin. So Dr. Anthony Gustin is the CEO and co-founder of Perfect Keto, and Chris Irwin, who's not doctor, but MC, he is a nutrition science researcher. So these guys wrote this amazing book. Why I believe it's amazing? Because it actually brings together all the keto research and data and very useful practical stuff that we accumulated in keto community, and they eliminate all the noise, all the speculations. They tell you how it is, they tell you the science, they tell you what we are sure of, what we are not so sure of. And it's just an amazing book. They tell you how to begin keto diet, what keto foods are, what some of the supplements that you might consider taking on keto diet, and what are the best options for these supplements, like fasting and keto, different types of keto for women, how to stay keto, self-experimentation and tracking and carb ups, what ketosis is, what ketogenic diet is, all these things. But the book is called Keto Answers because they also answer most commonly asked questions about keto diet. So I loved it. It's, again, enjoyable read, fast read. It has just essential science and nothing that a regular person without nutrition or MD or any of those qualifications. It's for regular people who just want to learn about keto diet a little bit more, a little bit better, to avoid all the possible negative effects as much as possible, and to just get all the benefits, whether that metabolic health, whether that fat loss, weight loss, muscle building, mental and physical performance, longevity. So the book is all about that. I loved it. Again, pick it up. It's on Amazon. But today we will do a little bit of reading from what I believe some of the most important parts of the book. We're going to start with keto foods. If you're familiar with keto diet, you probably know that keto diet is high fat, low carbohydrate, very low carbohydrate, and moderate to low protein diet. That's what a classical keto is, that was developed, by the way, guys, if you didn't know, to treat epileptic patients, I believe somewhere in 20s, 1920s, 1930s. So it's quite an old diet, but recently it got popular, I believe, mostly because a lot of people suffer from different metabolic diseases or issues, a lot of problems with people's metabolism because of our highly processed, rich and highly processed carbohydrates diet these days. And that's why I believe, this diet got popular, because it helps you to fix your metabolism and also your gut microbiome, and it can do so many other amazing things. So keto foods. Let's look at the grocery shopping list that is offered to us in the book. And on that grocery shopping list, we have beef, all sorts of beef, not just, beef from a cow, but then also well, actually, here they have different sorts of beef from the cow, like steak, like prime rib, like veal, like roast beef, brisket, etc. Then we have poultry, chicken, quail, turkey, wild game, eggs, seafood, all sorts of seafood that you can imagine. Seafood is not just like tuna or salmon, it's also trout, or mackerel, or sardines, my favorite, or anchovies, or lobster, crab, mussels, oysters, clams, all of that. Then we have pork and all parts of pork, organ meats like heart, like liver, kidneys, tongue, brain. We have other meats: bison, goat, lamb, salami, deli meats, collagen, protein. By the way, guys, I, as a nutritionist, as a nutrition coach, always recommend to go for variety. And some people think that variety only means different groups of food, like, let's say, vegetables, fruits, grains, beans, meat, poultry, seafood. But I actually mean by that different actual foods in a food group. So for example, if we take seafood, not all seafood is created equal at all. Like a lot of seafood has very different nutritional profiles. Let's take tuna and sardines. Tuna has very little to no fat and omega-3 fatty acids, whereas sardines are super rich in them, right? If you take something like oysters, they're super rich in zinc, that even a tiny, 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 tiny piece will give you more zinc than you need per day, whereas other fish are not that rich in zinc at all, right? And so variety also means just eating different meats. So for example, not just red meat flown from a cow, but even better actually, bison, goat, lamb, some wild game. Then on this same grocery shopping list, we have leafy greens, spinach, arugula, Swiss chard, romaine, beet greens, watercress, dandelion greens. We have cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, collard greens. We have fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, kimchi, and natto. Other produce: avocados, coconuts, mushrooms, zucchini, summer squash, asparagus, green beans, broccolini, cucumbers, leeks, spaghetti, squash, onions. Some foods like onions, for example, are marked with star sign because those foods are higher in carbohydrates, and you really need to count those carbohydrates. On keto diet specifically, you do need to count your carbohydrates, usually using some of the apps like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. Then we have fats here, all the fats that are advised on a keto diet. We have condiments, like apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, yellow mustard, brown mustard, coconut aminos, sugar-free ketchup, mayonnaise made from avocado or olive oil, horseradish, salsa, sugar-free, lemon juice, lime juice, tahini, vanilla extract, hot sauces. We have here herbs and spices, drinks like water and sweetened tea and coffee, some kombucha without added sugar, sparkling waters, coconut milk unsweetened, cashew milk unsweetened, almond milk unsweetened, bone broth, nuts and seeds, All of this you can find on the grocery shopping list. But I specifically want to focus on the foods to limit. Number one, dairy products. Not everyone tolerates dairy well. I'm reading from the book to you now. Later in this book, we'll get into the specific on how to approach dairy to see if it works for you. But basically, guys, if you want to understand whether dairy works for you or not, I personally believe that supermarket dairy does not really work for anyone because of the processes that we discussed on this podcast previously. But you can figure out how well you do on dairy if you eliminate it for 3 weeks completely. And by that I mean all the milk, all the yogurts, or any casein also in your protein powders, like it comes from milk, or whey, it's also dairy product. So eliminate all of that for 3 weeks and then reintroduce one product at a time. And if you see any bloating, any, you go low on energy, your sleep quality suffers, all of that means that, or you retain a lot of water, all of that means that you don't really do well on dairy. Nuts, these do not have to be avoided, but should be limited since they contain a decent amount of carbohydrates and are very easy to overeat. Peanut butter. Peanuts are actually not a nut. They are a legume. Besides containing a lot of carbs, they are pro-inflammatory and typically manufactured with the addition of pro-inflammatory hydrogenated oils. Lunch meat. While lunch meat is technically keto friendly, most lunch meats are low quality and contain a lot of preservatives. In a pinch, they make a good option, but in general should be limited. Vegetable oils. Don't even get us started. Vegetable oils are going to get their own section, but for now note that these oils are extremely pro-inflammatory and should be limited at all costs. What did I tell you guys? Like every single time, vegetable oils, it's a Franken food. Throw them away. This includes sunflower oil, canola oil, corn oil, peanut oil, safflower oil, soybean oil, and any other partially hydrogenated oils. But basically, guys, anything but olive oil, good quality avocado oil, coconut oil, non-refined, all of these oils in dark bottles or cans, and then good quality animal fats. Those are the only oils that you should be using. The rest, just throw them away. Processed and prepackaged foods. Avoid any foods that are highly processed or manufactured using poor practices. If it is packaged and has a long ingredient label, it probably falls into this category. Soy contains phytoestrogens, which can be problematic for your hormone levels. And soy is added to so many things, guys. Just check the ingredients. Additionally, many people react poorly to soy. So how important is food quality? On that, I also wanted to focus a little bit more. The food you eat is responsible for your cells, your hormones, your gut microbiome, every muscle, every blood vessel, every nerve. Yes, the body is adaptable and can break things down to some usable parts, but this is not the most optimal approach to maximizing our health, especially in the long term. You are literally what you eat. If you want to be the best version of you, or even just a non-ill and normal, healthy human being, you must start with the right materials first. So again, quality, guys. If you pour poor quality foods inside your body, you're gonna be over poor quality. Your health, your energy levels, how you look, how you feel, how you perform. So quality of food matters a lot. And the last thing that I wanted to focus on today, because I see a lot of confusion and I get a lot of questions from people, and there is not a lot of good literature out there on this topic, different types of keto, and particularly cyclic keto, targeted keto, modified Atkins, and carnivore keto. Carnivore. I always forget how to pronounce this weird diet that I actually tried, and we're going to talk a little bit about it later. So let's start with cyclic keto. What is cyclic keto? The cyclic keto diet consists of consuming carbohydrates 1 or 2 days a week and following a ketogenic diet for the other days. There are several reasons why someone may take this approach, including wanting a break from keto to replenish glycogen, having a goal of building muscle, improving exercise performance, or attempting to limit the side effects of keto that some people can experience. Is cyclic keto an effective strategy? Short answer, cyclic keto may be an effective strategy for those who are looking to maximize performance or muscle building, but the diet has not been studied extensively. And I probably want to read how. And so basically what they suggest is going for that's how we do cyclic keto. I found it in the book. Keto Monday, Friday, fasted Saturday morning, intense training session, and then high carb plus protein, lower fat meal, example, chicken and sweet potatoes. Higher protein, lower carb, moderate fat dinner. So basically Monday to Friday you do keto as you usually do it. On Saturday morning you fast, then you go and you train, and then after training you have higher carb plus normal protein plus lower fat meal. And then for dinner, you're going to have higher protein, lower carbohydrates, and moderate fat dinner. And Sunday, you back on track, maybe with another workout. They recommend that the carbs be consumed around exercise, because exercise can increase insulin sensitivity, improving your ability to utilize those carbs for recovery and reduce the likelihood of them causing damage within the body. Okay, now to targeted keto. What is targeted keto? Targeted keto is the strategic consumption of carbohydrates around a training session or competition, and keto all other times. Targeted keto is used by those who exercise frequently or at high intensities, particularly athletes. The purpose of this approach is to either stimulate greater exercise performance, promote greater recovery from exercise or competition, and or stimulate muscle growth. Is targeted keto an effective approach? Targeted keto, if done right, may be an effective approach for some who is keto adapted and has the primary goal of improving exercise performance. So one of the athletes that they talked to during writing this book, she, for example, she's a professional athlete, and to gain muscle, she recommends 30-50 grams of carbohydrates from sweet potatoes post-workout, and has found that using fruit during this time is not advantageous. Again, details matter, foods matter, whether you're eating sweet potatoes and basically starch or fructose from fruit, it also matters because they metabolize differently in your body. So 30-50 grams of whole food carbohydrates after your workout, that is one of the professional athletes recommends for targeted keto. Now we are moving to modified Atkins. So what is modified Atkins? Well, Atkins is a high protein diet, right? And usually it's not that high in fat, more protein. So modified Atkins is a higher fat version of the traditional Atkins diet, making it a higher protein ketogenic diet. Matt was first introduced to Chris, one of the authors of the book, at a conference a few years ago by some of the researchers at Johns Hopkins Children's Center. Is MAD an effective approach? So it's especially used often for muscle mass, training at a high intensity, or looking to burst through a weight loss plateau. Is MAD an effective approach? Anecdotally, we often find that once someone is keto adapted, lowering fat a bit and increasing protein tends to promote fat loss. I actually found it also with all the clients I work with, and myself including. If I want to get super lean, I'm gonna bump up my protein content and lower my fat. And carbs I always keep low. So lowering fat a bit and increasing protein tends to promote fat loss, especially in those who are stuck at a weight loss plateau. Again, there is not a whole lot of research to support this, but the thought here is that once adapted to keto, lowering dietary fat may promote an increased reliance on body fat burning, especially if there is a lot of stored fat available. So basically, if you've been doing keto for a while, so you might be burning mostly fat from your food, but your body in that high fat burning state that your body is used to burning fat for fuel. So once you lower fat in your diet, keeping carbohydrates low, your body will start burning more of your body fat. And that's kind of, intuitive, should be for most people. But yeah, if you're going through fat loss plateau, bumping up your protein content, lowering fat at the same time might help. So how do I do modified Atkins diet? The traditional modified Atkins diet is based on 1:1 fat to protein ratio. Basically meaning, for example, if someone like me, 125 pounds female, if I do modified Atkins diet, I go for protein somewhere between 120, 130 grams of protein. And the same I would do for fat, but a lot of times I actually would do even less. So let's say I would go for 130 grams of protein. I would usually actually go for somewhere around 80 grams of fat. That seems to work for me, but you got the idea. So making your protein content higher and then your fat lower, keeping your carbohydrates low as on traditional keto diet. Carnivore diet, or carnivore, how do you pronounce that? What is the carnivore diet? The boom we saw in keto several years ago is now hitting the carnivore diet. It's been popularized, by Sean Baker, Jordan Peterson. Like most of the variations of keto mentioned in this chapter, there is limited scientific evidence, but that doesn't mean that it isn't effective. There are many benefits associated with carnivore, such as decreased inflammation, improved insulin sensitivity, improved blood lipid profiles, increased energy, improved gut health, improved cognitive function, better hormone production, and the most popular, weight loss, of course. Is carnivore diet effective? As stated, this diet has not been evaluated much in research, so exact mechanism behind its benefits have not been fully established. However, we can speculate on several mechanisms behind why carnivore diet tends to work. And the most important thing here about carnivore diet, I believe, is that it's an intense elimination diet. Even more than keto. So you eliminate a whole bunch of foods. You limited food choices to meat alone and animal products. And like most elimination diets, there are short-term benefits to this, primarily improvements of gut health. Because whenever you eat mono diet, especially, diet that contains like nothing that can really disturb your gut except for killing a bunch of bacteria, even beneficial bacteria, because you're not eating, much fiber or any plant material that usually your gut bacteria eats. So when you remove all of that, your gut kind of resets because you kill off all of that bacteria, but also you kill off bacteria that might be harmful to your health and to your gut, and that's why you're gonna see a lot of improvements. But is it better for long-term health? Based on all the research, based on a lot of anecdotal evidence, might be not so, because you can develop a lot of nutrient deficiencies on this sort of diet, because a lot of people just tend to eat, just steaks or just chicken, or basically people do not have a lot of variety. But plus again, it's not researched that well, like how well we people do health-wise, especially long-term health, without diverse gut microbiome. And when you eliminate all the plant material on carnivore diet, you basically eliminate most of your variety and numbers of your gut microbiome. And since the diet is limited to only animal products, you consume a lot of protein, and it's still debatable whether too much protein is really such a great idea. Plus, a lot of people do not consume the best quality meat products. Meaning like the quality really not where it should be. A lot of people do not consume again the variety, and then the cooking methods might create a lot of carcinogens or just change the fats in the meat, not in a healthy way, not a way that is good for your health. So is carnivore safe? That's another question in the book. There is limited research on carnivore, but so far we have not seen a reason to fear using it strategically. Properly formulated carnivore diet, you are eating real food, and there is nothing to suggest that this would be particularly dangerous. That I agree with. Whenever you eat whole foods, like, and if it's good quality, it's actually really difficult to have some serious negative effects. Of course, you never know when you do it like for years what's going to happen. But, if you want to try it for like months to break through weight loss plateau, I don't see also how it can harm you. But of course, you gotta pay attention to the quality of that diet. High quality meat, include organ meats, limit things like pork because it's just hard to find good quality pork. Specifically, include seafood, include eggs. Don't fry your meat because it creates carcinogens and also oxidizes the fat in animal products, especially seafood that has a lot of polyunsaturated fats. And just stick to general principles of keto. So that's it for today, guys. I wanted to give you a sneak peek into the book, into some of the answers in the book, some of the aspects that the book goes into detail. But again, I love this. I'm gonna, reference this book so many times working with my clients, and just now whenever I have a question or I'm uncertain about certain things, this is the book, one of the books I'm going to be checking out for answers on properly formulated, healthy, and good for you keto diet. So Keto Answers, simplifying everything you need to know about the world's most confusing diet. There are a lot of confusing things about our diets and food system in general. So we have a lot of work to do. But till then, guys, try to educate yourself. Try to listen to podcasts like this one. And whenever you have a question, whenever you are not sure about something, and Google is not the best to search for answers, people still are. So reach out to people like myself who have some professional background in nutrition, in food science, in health. Search for answers and eat better daily. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you found this really useful and you're gonna use some of the information that you learned today. And if you have any further questions, use the form, the link in the show notes to ask me your question. It's gonna lead you to Google form where you can ask your question, and then also schedule our express free session if you want to ask me your questions personally and get through a few of your questions really fast and create your healthier eating plan for the next couple of weeks. So use the link in the show notes to schedule that session too. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.